Howdy, PT37 here, and today on Reloaded Thoughts, I'm going to talk about the concept of a concealed carry woods protection gun. So, while I talk about that, I want to be loading 10mm auto. I got a video about my Glock 20 shooting 180 grain Hornady XTP loads. It's actually this load right there. I got it loaded with it right now. And I want to take this deer hunting this year. Actually, I already took it once. We got an early doe season in my state. Took it out, didn't see anything, so I didn't get a chance to use it. But I'm wanting a cheaper practice load for it. Something that's not loaded quite as hot. So here's the bullets I'm going to load. They are Berry's plated, 180 grain, like truncated cone, whatever, but the max velocity is 1500 feet per second. It's a flat point thick plate is what they call it. There's a label on the box. I don't know if you can see it with the light, but anyway, so I'm going to load up some of these. I haven't loaded any up yet, but I just want a milder practice load so I don't have to plink off my 180 grain XTPs, my nice Starline brass. So these are just some, I don't know what kind of brass it is, but they're all the same but one. I didn't have quite enough for one batch, so I got one oddball. So my normal load is 14.4 grains of accurate number 9 with a 180 grain XTP, and that gets me right at 1300 feet per second, give or take like 10 or 20. And so I'm just gonna load up these with maybe a half a grain less powder or so. I don't know what I want to do on the powder charge yet, but I just want something cheaper to practice with so I can practice shooting off my shooting sticks and just stuff like that, so I feel a little bit more confident when the time comes. Anyway, so today I want to talk about the concealed carry woods protection gun. It's a concept I came up with over the summer. My wife is a photographer, and she goes and takes pictures out in the woods a lot. And sometimes she likes to have me come along. So a while back we had a photo shoot a ways away from home, about an hour. That's when she really likes me to come with her, is when the shoot's going to be a ways away. So I came with her, and I usually carry a little Glock 43. That's my concealed carry a lot of times. Sometimes it's something bigger, I got a Glock 23 I like to carry. I'm not just a diehard 40 fan, but it's just a Glock 23, so it's a pretty compact gun. Same size as a 19, but it's in 40, and I got it for cheap because it's a PD trade-in gun, so I just like to carry that thing a lot too. But I was carrying my Glock 43 this day because it was a nice summer day, and I was dressed up. Or not dressed up, but, I was dressed normally. And we went there, and it was this, kind of park area out in the woods, where you'd go camping or whatever. And while I was there, I got to thinking, man, if we see something, like some animal, so it kind of got me thinking, this isn't going to cut the mustard here if something happens. Because I got one, a 9mm, and two hollow points in it. So it's like a double whammy there. So I'm thinking, well, at the minimum, I need to start or work up a hard cast load. I dropped a piece of brass in this little hole. I need to work up a hard cast load for my 9mm. But I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that because I'm not a big fan of 9mm. And the grand scheme of things, it's great for people and concealed carry. But as far as outdoor stuff, I am not carrying a 9mm. So unless I just have to. So that got me thinking, well, what would be a good gun for this? I got my big outdoor revolvers. And but I can't conceal carry any of those because they're big and massive. So mind you, like I said, I'm at a photo shoot with my wife, and she's got clients with her, and I don't necessarily want to be kind of a dork and be there kind of just standing there with these people with a big old 44 mag on my hip. So I don't really want to make them uncomfortable or them just be like, who in the world's this weirdo with the photographer, So I don't want to, I just don't really like open carry anyway. I just don't like the extra attention. So I don't mind it when I'm hunting, but when I want to be around other people, I don't like it. Like even when I'm hunting, if I come into town after hunting or something, and I got my revolver on me, I'll usually take it off and leave it in the truck just because I don't want people gawking at me and asking me questions and all that crap. So I usually just don't open carry ever unless I'm by myself in the woods. So that got me thinking, I need a gun that I can conceal carry but also use for woods protection. So first thing popped in my mind is like Glock 20, like I got. So that would be a good one. And then also I was thinking about smaller revolvers. I don't really have any small revolvers. I got a little J-frame Model 60, an old one, just a 38 special one. If it would have been a 357, probably just would have carried that, but being 38 special, it's really not any better than 9mm as far as that roll is concerned. So I kind of like, well, I don't want 38. So it got me thinking about maybe a 3-inch Model 60 357 with the adjustable sights. Lots of people seem to go on and on about those and how nice they are. And this would be small enough to conceal carry. I thought about the Smith & Wesson Model 69 2 3/4 inch. That would be a good one. The Model 66 2 3/4 inch or 2.5 inch, something like that. So I got to thinking about all kinds of different options, and those are all great options. But something that kind of stumbled in my lap about that time was seeing that I think of CDNN Sports. They had Smith & Wesson M&P 45 police trade-ins on sale for $249. So it's if you're not familiar, it's a full-size 45 ACP, and it's a 10+1 45, and it's a little bit smaller than the Glocks. So I already had my Glock 20, which really I probably should have just bought a holster for that thing, but it's got the red dot on it, and I want that to be more of a primary hunting gun, like to hunt deer with. So I didn't really want to load a hard cast load for that and have to worry about my zero being off with my red dot. And also the red dot just adds in size to it. So even though I could conceal carry it, especially with the red dot, it's already a big gun as it is, and then you add the red dot, it's just that much bigger. I'm like, hey, I don't want to conceal carry that thing. So I ended up getting this M&P 45 for steel, and it's just a perfect gun for that niche. So it's a big gun, but it's smaller than the Glock 21, Glock 20, a little bit smaller. It's more like the size of a full-size Glock 17, give or take. The biggest thing for me is the thickness. The Glocks are thick, the big frame ones, and the M&P, yeah, they don't hold quite as many rounds, but they're the same thickness as like the 9mm Glocks. So they really don't feel any different than like a 9mm 40 size gun, but it's in 45. So I got that, and I found me an inside waistband Kydex holster, and for cheap on eBay. So that's great, and I really like it. It's such a narrow niche. I don't think everybody's gonna want a gun like that. But there's more things than that. Like I said, I have a very specific purpose for mine, for like going on photo shoots with my wife when we're out in the woods. And I still want to conceal. I don't want to open carry. Now if it was just us, yeah, obviously I'd just open carry my 629 or 686 and be fine. I probably could have found an inside the waistband holster for those guns, but it just would have been too much. My pants would have been sagging down the whole time, and I mean, it's already kind of borderline with the M&P 45. But another niche I found with it is that this last week, or I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I went to Colorado with some friends, and that's why I didn't have a Reloaded Thoughts last week. I apologize for that. I was in Colorado, and I thought I was going to have time to get one made and thrown up before I left, but I didn't because I didn't pack very good. We went to Colorado, and we're around all these big animals. You know, we went to Rocky Mountain National Park at Estes Park, and there's big old elk, there's mule deer, There's Black Bear. Now you're not supposed to shoot anything there, and I wasn't planning on it, but my wife brought her stinking camera and was trying to take pictures of the stuff. Luckily, she didn't get close to an elk, but she got within like 10 yards of a mule deer, a giant mule deer, and she was wanting to go closer. I'm like, no, don't go any closer. I don't need to be shooting this thing when it goes to gorge you here in front of God and everybody. So thankfully she didn't, and the deer didn't gourd her. But I thought I was gonna see an elk gourd a gal. She got from like me to the camera from a big old bull elk, and he sure kind of nodded his head at her. Luckily he didn't gourd that woman. But it's a very versatile platform, having the 45, because, so what I did is I conceal carried it the whole time pretty much, and I have just 230 grain hollow points in it whenever I'm in town. So whenever we was going up in the mountains, I got a full magazine of this 250 grain hard cast round nose flat point ammo that I loaded. So if you watch Buffalo Boar's YouTube channel, he's got some good videos talking about 45 ACP for woods protection, you know, and versus 10 millimeter. And it kind of got me thinking that 45 would be a good candidate anyway. It really wasn't on my radar at first. But after listening to him talk about the virtues of the 45 ACP loaded heavy, it just got me thinking that, you know, that would probably do everything I ever needed to do, short of a grizzly bear, which I don't have grizzly bears to worry about where I'm at. I just got black bears at the most, and they're pretty small for the most part. So I think a 45, while not ideal, it'd be a lot better than a sharp stick or a Glock 43 with hollow points in it. So what I would do is I would have my M&P with the magazine of hollow points in it for when I was more worried about people, and then when we'd go in the mountains, I had a magazine of this stuff in my pocket, and I would just switch it out. So that way I was just one magazine away from having hard cast woods protection bullets or hollow point people protection bullets. And I just think that that's a really good niche. I don't know why I never thought about having a gun like this earlier. It's very versatile, and I just left. So I left it one in the chamber the whole time. I had a hollow point in the chamber, so I had one soft, and then the rest were solids if I was going into woods, and I had just all softs if I went into town. So it's just a really good niche that I think a lot of people don't really think about. And so, in 45 is a lot more capable than I thought. Like I mentioned, Buffalo Boar's got some good videos on it. But I just never, I honestly kind of slept on 45. I've had one for a long time. I had a couple 1911s, and they're great. But I just kind of seen them more as target guns and maybe an occasional hunting gun, like forgot I'm not priming on the press. But I thought about taking it deer hunting, just trying to kill a deer with it, which it would be fine for. But I never really thought about it much as far as like woods protection or even like power. Like I know it's more than 9mm, but for the most part, I would rather have more rounds of 9mm than less of 45. But I've kind of changed my thinking lately. The older I get, the more I like the old 45. They all fall to ball. So anyway, enough of being a giver. But I loaded these rounds. So Buffalo Boar loads their 45 ACP plus P outdoorsman load with a 255 grain round nose flat point bullet, just like this. And they get about 925 feet per second out of it, and which is pretty good. So I was using book published data with that bullet, and I think I may have talked about this in a different video a little bit, but I managed to get 1,050 feet per second out of this. So I backed off of that load because it's pretty much a 45 super, a low-end 45 super load. But I mean, so now my loads are going about right at 1,000 or 990 feet per second since I backed off a little bit. And I've shot a few mags out of my guns. I got a Glock 21 and Well, now, I didn't when I first was thinking about all this, but I got a Glock 21 now and an M&P 45, and they both shoot that load reliably. And I haven't chronographed it out of the Glock, but out of the M&P, it was about 990 or 1,000 feet per second. So that's a good load. That's going to do everything I ever needed to do. You know, that's something that you guys might want to consider, is like, and it's not even, you know, like I said, I do the photo shoots out in the woods with my wife, and I went to Colorado, but it could be something else too. There was a church event I went to a while back. The church is out in the middle of nowhere, just surrounded by woods, and we was outside barbecuing. So I'm like, you know, I think I'll take the M&P 45 too with my hard cast stuff, because there was like maybe 30 people there. So the people really wasn't a big concern for me. And even if some dude did show up, want to cause trouble, I mean, this is still going to solve the problem as long as there's not people behind them. And like I said, there was about 30 people there anyway, so it's not like I was in a densely populated area. So I had a lot bigger chance of some wild animal wanting to roll up there and cause some issue than some goober wanting to come up there and cause an issue. So it's just a really useful concept I thought I would share with you guys. I never really considered it much until, like I said, I was in the middle of the woods with a Glock 43 and thought, man, some animal is going to come take this thing and shove it up my butt, because it is not going to do anything for it, really. It's just going to piss it off. But there's plenty of guns that would work for that. I bought some hard cast 200 grain truncated cone flat nose or flat point bullets to load in my Glock 23. I bought those, and I got the Glock or the 45 bullets to load in my M&P, and I was going to see how I liked the 40, because I carry that a lot more often. So I loaded some for that, and I got about 900 feet per second with it, which they would be fine. I think they would do the job. I mean, my whole thought with this is it's not going to be the best tool, but it's going to be adequate. It's definitely going to be a lot better than what I was carrying for that specific purpose. But between the 40 cal 200 grain bullets and the 45 250 grain bullets, I was getting more velocity with the 45 and 50 more grains of bullet there. So I just decided to stick with that, and the gun is marginally bigger. It's not any harder to conceal that thing really than the Glock 23. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled on enough about that. Some other big news. I regretfully I sold my 480. I know, some of you guys came over here probably because of those videos, but I sold it just because I got some other goals in my life. I want to, like, I got an African hunting trip coming up, and I kind of spun that to my wife that I would sell some guns to help fund that, because it's going to be kind of expensive, and I hadn't done that yet. Well, I sold one, but it wasn't much. It didn't amount to much. So I sold the 480 because that was the newest thing I could stand to part with. I didn't want to, and I sold it for a friend. So I sold it to a friend, so I didn't make a bunch of money on it or nothing. Now, however, I think I could get it back down the road if I want, maybe, if he doesn't fall in love with it. So it was kind of a sacrifice, short-term sacrifice I had to make. So unfortunately, I sold it. Now I can still get it for videos. So I might still do some videos on it. So that'll be good. And I did sell the King Cobra 22 as well. So I put all that money here in the Africa Fund. So if you've ever seen this sitting in the corner, wondering what it is, that's my Africa Fund. So I'm shooting for $6,000 in there. So I got a little ways to go, but I'm about almost a third of the way there. About a third of the way there, give or take. Because I got that and I got some other money. So I don't know how much change in there. At least tens of dollars. I got tens of dollars at least. So should get me there. But anyway, so I sold those two things, and I might spend a little bit of that money to get some other stuff squared away. Like I got a 300 Weatherby Magnum a while back. A smoking deal on that thing too. It's well, let me just get that for you. So here's the 300 Weatherby Magnum. It's just a basic Weatherby Vanguard. I think it's the Obsidian model, I want to say. Just a basic synthetic stock and all that. It's nothing fancy. But man, I got it for 331 bucks, brand new. Can you believe that? So pretty much when I talk about a friend on these videos, I'm talking about the same guy. So I got like 3 friends and one of them's in the gun. So when I'm talking about a friend on these videos, it's the same guy. So same guy sold the 482. He sent me this, oh, it's been months ago, online from Hinterland Outfitters, and they had it on sale for $374. I was like, ugh, I don't need it, but I've been wanting a 300 Magnum of some sort for a while. So I didn't have cash, so I did the Sezzle thing. I'm like, well, that's just too good of a deal to pass up. So I went ahead and they offered Sezzle, so I went to do the Sezzle thing. Well, Sezzle was running a promo too at the time, so I got $50 off through Sezzle. So I ended up getting it for 331 bucks shipped. They didn't charge tax either. So and then the place I shipped it to didn't charge me a transfer fee. So it was just a smoking deal. I figured I could not pass it up for that price. Even if I don't like it, I could for sure make my money back, if not some on it. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of that money from the 480 and the King Cobra and buy an optic for this. If you got any optic recommendations, let me know. I'm kind of up in the air. I'm leaning towards the Leupold VX3 3.5 to 10 by 40. Just to I want to keep it relatively lightweight, and I don't think I want to go any more than like 10 or 12 on the high end, probably 10. I thought about just getting a Leupold Freedom 3 to 9 and throwing on here for now, but I don't know. I think I'll just spend the extra like 50, 100 bucks or whatever it is and just get the 3.5 to 10. But if there's any other things you might think I ought to consider, then feel free to comment, let me know, because I'm still not 100% decided. But this is a great gun. I haven't shot it yet. Too good a deal to pass up. But anyway, I'll call it good on this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.